On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, WikiLeaks has now added support for Monero if you want to place a donation, and I'll show you how to invest in the most popular cryptocurrencies without having to do tons of research and without having to manage it all yourself. All of that coming up on today's episode of the Cryptoverse, so stay right there. Hi there guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. I am your host, Chris Coney, the founder of Cryptoversity, the online school where you can learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. Find out more at cryptoversity.com. So first story for today, WikiLeaks adds support for donations in Monero. Can you believe it? So hopping over to the WikiLeaks donation page here, if we scroll down a touch. You know, I heard about this from WikiLeaks when they sent out a tweet about it. You know, last week I talked about when they announced they were taking Zcash donations. And when they did that, I immediately asked, why not Monero, right? It's a bigger capped coin, it's been around longer. Why didn't they do Monero first? Well, no sooner had I said that, and WikiLeaks starts accepting Monero right there. You know, WikiLeaks are no strangers to encryption technologies, are they? So cryptocurrencies seem to be kind of a match made in heaven for them. A good match for their purposes. So that's just a quick bit of news. I think that's good news for cryptocurrencies. It's good news for WikiLeaks, and it's no surprise that they saw this as a great tool to help them with their purposes, right? But other than that quick story, let's get on to the main one. How to invest in the most popular Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies without having to manage it all. Well, we waited for it, and now we've got it. Iconomy is now live. And I did what I always do, which is to immediately sign up and start testing it. So let me show you Iconomy. If you've not heard of Iconomy before, well, you're in for a treat. So it's very straightforward to sign up for Iconomy. However, you do need to verify yourself and your identity in order to even get to tier 1, which is a £1,000 deposit. So that's not £1,000 per day, as you'll see here. Tier 1, that's $1,000 ever. So it's a lifetime deposit and withdrawal limit of $1,000. Pretty tight, if you ask me. Now to remove those limits, actually to remove all the limits on deposits, as it says there, unlimited deposits, and then get a $50,000 per day withdrawal limit, you have to verify to tier number 2, which requires the old video call with an agent, you know, who verifies your identity manually. And when I went to do that, it said they were too busy. So they put me in a queue and they're going to let me know when there's a slot available. That's the only downside with, you know, human verification of identities, is that it quickly gets overwhelmed with the capacity. Now you can try the system out at tier 1, right? Just use your $1,000 limit and then decide, if you like it, whether you want to verify to tier 2. So what did I do? I went ahead and deposited, I think it was 0.1 Ether, and then I just bought the index, which means I used that 0.1 Ether to buy however many. You can barely see it, okay, there. 23.87 ICNX, which is, I guess, short for Iconomy Index. Now, the benefit of this is that you are buying into this particular DAA, they call it, or Digital Asset Array. And that's their technical term for describing a basket of digital assets that someone else has put together and then offered to manage for anyone who wants to invest in it. So in my case, where I've bought, what, $30 worth of ICNX, that stake now has exposure to this portfolio of assets, which is listed below. You see this DAA structure. Let's highlight this so I don't have to keep my mouse near it. Let's highlight it in green. So DAA structure. It lists the basket of currencies, assets, and whatnot that make up this particular index. And it also lists how much of the index is made up by each asset. as you'll see right now, we have Bitcoin, and there's also categorized. That's pretty cool, right? Whether it's about anonymity or media or storage, or so this is pretty useful that they're investing in different categories of digital assets. It says right now the current index weighting for Bitcoin is 23.49%. Then you've got Ethereum making up about 16% of it, Dash making up about 13.8% of it, and it goes on and on and on from there, all the way down to, what's the smallest one? Matchpool. Yeah, that's an interesting project, by the way. Matchpool at 0.23%. So they've thrown a bit of that in there, which they put in a category of matchmaking, which is matchmaking people to people. You can use Matchpool for dating, but it's not just for that. Anyway, I'm not going to get off on talking about Matchpool right now. So when I said that here is a way to invest in the most popular cryptocurrencies without having to manage it all, this is how you do it. You can just buy the index and then let professional asset managers adjust it for you, right? And then they'll adjust the portfolio periodically. In fact, now that I own, what is it, 23 tokens, which is listed back up here, that means that I own a stake in the ICNX index. And as those ICNX tokens go up and down in value, well, that should be linked to the performance of this particular fund and the basket of assets that they have chosen to select. Now, this fund in particular, the ICNX, and the other one you see here, which is, I think it's called ICNP, which you can flip to just above the graph here. So there's the other one. There's a little description that tells you what it's about if you want to dig into what the differences are. But anyway, these two have been set up just to get the platform up and running and showcase the concept, right? They did announce in their newsletter a few days ago, which I can show you here. This is the email I got from Iconomy. And what they're talking about is that a company called Columbus Capital Limited from London will be taking on management of these particular funds, and those funds will be renamed to Columbus Capital Blockchain Index. So that's the one I bought. And then the other one is going to be renamed to Columbus Capital Pinter. And this illustrates how Iconomy is intended to work, right? Now, any investment management company can create a fund on Iconomy, or rather a digital asset array, as they call it. They can set up a basket of digital assets, and then they can compete with other funds for the money that people want to invest on the platform. So, of course, when I put my 0.1 Ether in there, there was only 2 funds available, right? And in this case, they're only going to be managed by one company. But it would be nice, wouldn't it, once it grows out, to have a whole, smorgasbord of different companies, different indexes, different baskets, different funds, all that kind of stuff. And the key with Iconomy is that because it takes cryptocurrency, those asset management companies could be from anywhere in the world, and they could have investors from anywhere in the world. So it completely opens the investment fund industry wide open. Now, there's only this one company, what do they call themselves? Columbus Capital, that has signed up. But other companies, and I think even individuals, can now start participating in this fund management game. I think Iconomy allows anybody, even me if I wanted to become one of these digital asset array managers. So I could set up my own fund and put my own basket of currencies in there. Maybe, let's say I wanted to create a gambling fund. So then I'd put in, Funfair, like Round, I'd put in peer plays, I'd put in game credits. You know what I mean? I could stick all of these back, and then you could invest in the whole gaming index rather than just one particular project. This is a well-established concept in the traditional stock and financial markets, and now being brought over to Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains, which means it opens it up wide to anyone who uses the internet. Now, the benefit to being a fund manager is that you get to set a fee. If we go back to Iconomy here and scroll back down again, the fee in this case, where the index is in the index that I've invested in, it's 3%. It says right there, management fee 3%, 0 on the entry fee, and then 0.5% fee when you exit, hopefully at a profit. That's smart because the investment fund wants a percentage of the profits as well. So if you've done well, then they'll take 0.5% of the gains on the way out. But just like any sort of mutual fund, that 3% management fee applies whether the index goes up or down, or whether the fund makes money or loses money. The fund managers always make money on their services. That's the only downside. And one of the big reasons why Robert Kiyosaki criticizes, or used to criticize, mutual funds, because the fund managers make their 3% management fee regardless, right? And then they make money on the gains, but don't take any of the losses. Now, having seen how this platform works, I would quite like to get someone from the iConomy project on the show for an interview. So if you would like to see that, let me know in the comments below. So before we wrap up today, it's Monday, so we have to say welcome to a few new patrons. We have one new supporter patron, Jeff1038. And a supporter is just someone who pledges money just like a regular patron, and just to support the production of the show. And then we have some new premium level patrons who have signed up because they want to support the show and get access to the online courses and get access to the private chat groups so they can Q&A me at any time. We have Adrian Labas. We have Wesley. What is that? It's Weltegan, I think. Is that like a name from the Netherlands or Scandinavia or somewhere like that? Ramon Diaz, Michelle Noble, and Robert Riss. Welcome to you new folks over the last week who have joined me as patrons. Very glad to have you. Thanks for supporting the Cryptoverse and helping me to boost cryptocurrency adoption, which is what it's all about. Alright guys, thanks very much for joining me today. If you like this episode, hit that like button. And if you're new around here, get subscribed. And if you would like access to my very best material, like the patrons have, such as my structured online courses, which will teach you how to make and save money with Bitcoin, check out Cryptoversity.com. Alright guys, that's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Market Roundup and another edition of this news and commentary show. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.